The horror mounts in Oklahoma City this hour as the death toll continues to rise from this morning's powerful explosion. Rescue crews remain hard at work in a desperate attempt to reach survivors still buried in all the rubble. Oklahoma City's federal building bombing tops our special edition of the Channel 4 News at 4:30.
Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Craig along with Tony Segreto. This is a special edition of the Channel 4 News at 4:30.
In the next 2 hours, we will bring you complete team coverage of the federal bomb blast in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
At 9 o'clock Central Time this morning, a huge blast believed to be caused by a car bomb tore apart a federal building in Oklahoma City. This is exactly where it happened, at the Murrah Federal Building in the downtown area. Hundreds of federal employees work in that building located in downtown Oklahoma City.
This is what it looked like right after the blast. Black smoke could be seen for miles. The entire side of the building is now gone, as you can see, sheared off by the force of that explosion. FBI investigators have confirmed they are now looking for 3 men who could be responsible.
The death toll right now is 78. 17 of the dead are confirmed to be children. They were in a daycare center in the building. At least 200 people were hurt. Hospitals in the area are dealing with overflow conditions.
And if things just couldn't get worse, fear gripped the city as word went out that 2 more bombs had been found in that building. Much of the downtown area has now been evacuated. Rescuers are now scouring the building, searching for survivors. And with so much debris and so much devastation, it could take days to find any.
Channel 4 Steve Daniels has been monitoring the explosion all day from our satellite feed center. He joins us now with the latest information. Steve?
Kelly, there are new worries this afternoon in Oklahoma City. There are thunderstorms, rain, strong winds coming into the Oklahoma City area right now. You can see this reporter over my right-hand shoulder. She is in the rainstorm right now. And the concern now is that that very miserable weather condition will hamper the search efforts. We are understanding now that there are at least 10 survivors who have been found inside the building. Of course, that rain and foul weather could be a problem there, and because the building is so unstable and unsafe at this moment. We also have been told that there is a team of 4 doctors that has entered, excuse me, entered the building right now to begin amputating the limbs of people who have been crushed by debris there. Right now, as you mentioned, the death toll stands at about 78. There is some problem with all of that, with the death toll calculation. There are numbers as few as 20, some as high as 80 as they continue to sort out what happened. And as you mentioned, they suspect it is an act of terrorism that was perpetrated by people from the Middle East. Here's more on that. Rescue workers are scouring every inch of Oklahoma City's federal building. So far, just 2 survivors have been found in the rubble. On the most severely damaged side of the building, firefighters are using ladder trucks to search for casualties.
It is emotional. I've met firefighters coming out of the building who've had tears in their eyes from crawling through and looking at the devastation both to the building and the people. And it's emotional trying to rescue people, and it's very taxing, and but we're going to be here and throughout it, and we're going to do the very best we can.
Medical workers from across Oklahoma have been mobilized to treat survivors. Treatment centers have been set up in the streets to care for the injured. Hospitals are overwhelmed, caring for people suffering from burns, cuts, bruises, broken bones. The rescue effort was hampered earlier today when emergency workers suspected there were 2 other explosive devices that had not yet detonated. Rescuers were told to evacuate the area, leave the injured behind.
Everybody went nuts. The firefighters started running. Emergency crews tried to push the crowd back, and it was almost like a stampede as people tried to get away, wondering if that bomb could go off any minute.
Members of the bomb squad could not confirm if other devices were in the area. While the search for survivors continues now, the FBI and ATF are searching for answers, a motive, any explanation for this act of terrorism in America's heartland.
Anytime you have this kind of damage and this kind of an explosion, you have to look there first. And obviously, we work very closely whenever it's a situation like this with the FBI.
But again, the primary focus now is looking for survivors in the rubble. Here are the suspects the FBI is focused on at this moment. They believe there are 3 Middle Eastern men who may be responsible. They were seen in the area of downtown Oklahoma City, leaving that area shortly after the bomb blast. They were wearing blue jogging suits and driving a brown Chevy pickup truck. Now, the very latest information on this is the FBI is focusing on a motel outside Oklahoma City. They have sent their searchers in and investigators, and they have cordoned off that area. They believe that the 3 men may be holed up inside this motel outside Oklahoma City. That is the very latest. I will keep updating this and keep a track of what's happening and bring you the very latest as we get it here.
Steve, one point of clarification, there was concern that perhaps a second or even third bomb was located on the scene, and that was hampering survival or survivors, you know, getting some help there. What is the situation there? Has there been a second or third device found?
Well, there was early speculation that there were perhaps 2 other explosive devices that were in the area. The bomb squad went in there, and at this point, they have not yet been able to determine or confirm if there were other explosive devices there in the area. But as you point out, Kelly, that did hamper the search effort because all the rescue workers were ordered to leave that area and leave those survivors who were badly injured in the building until they could determine the extent of those other what were suspected to be bomb devices there in the area.
All right, thank you very much.
And speaking of survivors, those who did survive that blast are counting their blessings tonight, feeling lucky just to be alive. Channel 4's Nick Bogert has been following this story since its inception. He now joins us live with several stories of survival. Nick?
Tony, the Murrah Federal Building has 514 workers assigned to it. The explosion happened just after 9 Central Time, well into the federal workday. And here's how those who went through it describe it.
We went around on the north side of the building, and then that's when I saw it.
And welcome back to the special edition of the Channel 4 News, a federal building bombing in Oklahoma City.
Well, news of the attack hit very close to home for Channel 4 sports reporter Karie Ross. She is an Oklahoma native, and she's been on the phone with friends and family in the area all day, as you can imagine. She joins us now with a closer look at how the folks there are handling the situation. Karie?
Well, Kelly and Tony, I've been on the phone all day, as you can imagine, with relatives and friends, and each one of them has a different story, an unbelievable story to tell about a friend who was downtown at the situation in the area where the disaster happened. All the hospitals sent out care crisis alerts asking that doctors and nurses report to their nearest hospitals. Volunteers were even enlisted to help bring the injured into trauma units. How prepared are hospitals here in South Florida to deal with a disaster? Channel 4's Nancy Humphries is here with the answer.
Well, Kelly, with the experience of going through Hurricane Andrew
Certainly.
and with all of our excellent medical facilities, you'd think that South Florida would be well prepared in case of any disaster, a bombing, another hurricane, whatever. Well, today we checked it out, and you will feel pretty good about what we found out.
This is a special edition of Channel 4 News, continuing coverage of the federal building bombing.
It brings back horrible memories of the World Trade Center bombing, the blast that leveled a Marine barracks in Beirut. But it's Middle America, the heart of the Bible Belt, as far from world unrest as possible. But today, a federal building bombing strikes at America's heartland. Good evening, I'm Jackie Nespral. Jennifer Valapi is away.
And I'm Tony Segreto. The blast tore a 9-story hole in a building in the federal office building in downtown Oklahoma City just as 500 office workers were starting their day at 9 o'clock. One entire side of the building is gone. 4 stories of the parking garage underneath collapsed into rubble. But what's believed to be a car bomb with 1,200 pounds of explosives. There's a crater 8 feet deep where the car was parked. Reports say at least 81 people are dead, but out of 550 people assigned to that federal building, only 250 are accounted for. Survivors told of diving under desks only to stand up and find all the walls around them gone. Just as rescue workers began to swarm over the rubble looking for survivors, word came yet another bomb had been found on the other side of the building. For more, we go live to Oklahoma City and Phil Rogers. Phil?
Good afternoon. Downtown Oklahoma City is a scene of utter destruction.
The federal office tower in downtown Miami is also got a threat today, despite more visible security at all federal buildings today. That's where Channel 4's Kerry Sanders is now. He's been following up on the increased security there. Kerry?
Well, I'm at the Claude Pepper Federal Building. There was no bomb found. In fact, on any other day, a bomb threat would not be news, but not so today.
The news instantly replaced O.J. Simpson as the focus of national attention. Continuing television coverage has kept most people up to the minute on what's happening. Channel 4's Ed O'Dell has been talking with people about their impressions of the bombing. He's at Miami International Airport right now. And Ed, what are people saying?
Well, if what we found here at Miami International and throughout downtown Miami is an indicator, people all over the world are talking about this bombing. People here at Miami International can't get enough information on the bombing, even people who have no idea where Oklahoma City is.